It is a red card, but it's also very clear. Like, he does headbutt it, right? Like, he goes at it at the same time.
But even I can see there's no contact.
There's not much to it.
Maybe you need to his chest.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Sometimes you gotta milk it, right?
Yeah.
Just want to do a quick audio check.
Hello, hello. It's probably around my normal speaking voice. All good here. Hopefully looking all good, and a little bit louder, probably slightly more than that.
Yeah, cool. Easy.
afternoon and welcome to Lambert Park in Sydney's Inner West as the NPL women's season rolls on. Fully into the season now in round 5, and we are set for a great one here at Lambert Park. APIA Leichhardt are hosting the Western Sydney Wanderers, and these are two teams looking to continue to find their feet in this season. APIA notching their first loss of the year against a very tough Mount Druitt side, an undefeated Mount Druitt side away at Popondetta Park last week. As for the Western Sydney Wanderers, they were 2-1 victors at home against the Gladesville Ravens. Annika Stajic and an own goal got them the win, and they are looking for their third win in the 5 games we've had this season, which would be their first away win as well. And they travel to take on a team that many are predicting to be at the top end of town come the end of 26 rounds in this competition. Will Constantinidis with you for this one. Pleasure to be here on a Sunday afternoon at Lambert Park. Perfect conditions for football, if not a little overcast, and we've had a decent crowd come in for this one. Plenty of APIA juniors will be set to make some noise. And without any further delay, let's get you straight up to date with all the team news. Starting first with APIA Leichhardt. Their lineup goes like this. In goal is number 1, Sophie Magus. Number 5 is Teal Kilbride. 6 is Mona Walker. 7 is Charlotte Lancaster. 10 is Mel Caceres. 11, their captain, Ash Crocs. 14, Mia Golding. 15, Gisela Pepino. 16, Estelle Fregale. 21 is Caitlin Kaparizov. And 24 is Christina Kachik, who has a couple goals to her name, the young central defender out of the Institute. As for the Western Sydney Wanderers, we'll get to their lineup in a moment. APIA already on the attack before Maya Lobo snuffs that one out. It's only as far as the former Wanderer Ash Crofts. For the Western Sydney Wanderers, their lineup is number 1, Amy Hall. Number 5, Chelsea Barden. 8, Estelle Cameron. 11, Miriam Zumaya. Shot at some distance, and that'll be easily claimed by Sophie Magus. That one coming by way of number 33, Amy Barker. Number 14 is Alvina Kashava. 15 is Angelina Scarmadella. 17, Amelia Casa. 19, Sienna Arate. 23, Maya Lobo. And 32 is Brooklyn Hudson. APIA with 3 wins on the season, the Wanderers with 2. And despite their loss last week, APIA still remain in second position on the ladder. Manly, who are currently in action, holding that top spot. Last time I checked, they were drawing with the Northern Tigers. We'll bring you score updates from around the grounds. It's the beauty of NPL women's football. So many games going on at the same time. As APIA look to play their way out, Estelle Fregale gets the call that she was being pressured. Here is Kaparizov now. Lancaster drops short to receive and can take the ball forward. Linking up with fellow Kiwi, Mona Walker. And the APIA midfielder tries to race away down the wing to collect with that one, but unable to do so. Flipped on by Zamaya. Wanderers unable to make much progress down the wing. Lancaster tracks back on that occasion. It's Mia Golding. There's plenty of Institute players out on the park. Institute no longer part of this competition, replaced by the Wanderers. The Wanderers have picked up a few from there. The APIA have a couple ex-Institute players themselves, as Cross tries to get on the end of that one from Amy Hall, and in the end it's a bit of a scare at the back for the Wanderers, but the only outcome is a goal kick. Our referee out in the centre today conducting proceedings is Mia Velarde. Filipino unable to find Crofts. Maya Lobo. Getting short. Amelia Kassar. A very promising player. The Wanderers have a hold of someone that's certainly caught the eye at youth level, now trying to make her way into senior first grade football and potentially the A-League. Here is Pepino. Trying to find Crofts and does. The flag has stayed down for Crofts. And a good save by Amy Hall at a near post. Had to get down quickly to deny the APIA number 11. And that's good play from APIA. Exactly what they would have wanted. Focusing that play down the wing. Gisela Pepino wasn't going to be rushed into forcing a cross, lumped into the area. Instead, coolly played in her striker. And Lancaster Numbers are crowding around Amy Hall. No questions about where this is going. It's towards the near post and eventually hooked away and seen out of danger. Lancaster with some good feet, but runs into too many white shirts. It's still to the benefit of APIA. Kilbride on the edge of the area. Cheek. Quick check of the shoulder. Nice feet on the edge of the area too, and that's why she's represented Australia in futsal. There's Walker. Cross is deflected, cross is cleared, and that's onto the roof, and that'll find its way onto Marion Street behind us. It's the charm of playing at Lambert Park, being tucked into a very tight corner of Sydney's inner west. It's one of very few grounds that are played right in the heart of suburbia. Walker. Kilbride. Swings it out to Mia Golding. APIA have had it all their way in these first couple of minutes, and as you would expect them to. Now it's time for the Wanderers to try and build something. They're a side that does like to keep the ball, as to be expected. Prominent feature of academy teams. They're good technically, good on the ball. As Kassar tries to get the other side of Teal Kilbride. Holds up and waits for some support. Amy Barker able to move possession on, and the Wanderers keep it. Scamadella. Now it's Zamaya, whips the ball in. Kassar with a decent enough first touch. Kachik has to clear it away from a former Institute teammate. And in the end, Sophie Magus can only clear. Walker. Now here is Caceres. Continuing to get more reps in this APIA Maroon, swapping the maroon of MacArthur Rams for the maroon of APIA. Of course, Caceres a couple seasons back was in red and black during the A-League women's season. Now playing against their academy side. Walker plays nice and easily, and APIA are back underway. For APIA, it's going to be all about taking their chances this afternoon. They're a side that created plenty against Mount Druitt. Speaking to Brad Attard before the game, he spoke about how his team created a lot, were unable to capitalise on it, and in the end gave Mount Druitt too many avenues into the game, too many cheap turnovers for his liking. Walker, quick look over and goes continuing down the wing. Pepino's moved over to this left-hand side. Pepino, ball in towards Crofts, and it's cleared by Maya Lobo. Zamaya has to go backwards. Wanderers will be careful not to dig themselves into a corner here. Sits up kindly for Kaparazov. Still in. Pepino looking for options centrally. Finds Fragale. Lancaster and Walker. APIA unfazed in possession at the moment. Kachik. Kilbride. And Golding. Again, APIA left to right. They're seeming to have no problems at the moment. Not really being pressed out of it by APIA, as Kassar is cutting an isolated figure at the top of the attack for the Wanderers for the time being. And now the Wanderers, with this foul, can really set their attack a bit more than they've been able to. Sent over the top. Golding, despite being one of the shorter players, still decent enough in the air there, especially without too much pressure. Able to just nod that over the sideline. And just over 8 minutes gone here. Still 0-0, no major chances. It's been both teams really feeling their way through this game, especially the Wanderers as they try and link up, try and get back to what made them so successful against the Ravens last week. They've had a bit of an inconsistent start, the Wanderers. 2 wins, 2 losses. And today will be certainly a big test, especially the circumstances in which they find themselves at Lambert Park. Not only playing against a high-quality outfit, but also combined with the fact that their A-League women's side is in action right now against the Melbourne Victory, which means that a few of the usual suspects that you might expect to see on a team sheet aren't here today. As Walker links up with Pepino on the edge of the area. Hudson turns and goes forward. Kassar has space, but again, right now, this Wanderers defense is marshalling her well, and she almost latched onto that one from Sophie Magus. Almost a very costly, cheap turnover, exactly the type of thing Brad Attard wasn't happy about in last week's performance at Popondetta. Cameron, calm pass back to another former Ram, Chelsea Barden. Linking up with another former Ram, Maya Lobo. It's a very tight circle, the NPL women's. There's Walker. Easy pass back to Kachik, and APIA will slowly make their way up through possession. Magus. See APIA just a bit stationary at the moment. Walker has to assess her options and drives it towards Kiparis. I'm not entirely sure if she was looking for that option initially, but in the end, APIA is still able to hold possession. Fragale is under pressure, but that's easily played back to Walker, who's dropped into the defensive line. Here is Pepino, inverting off the wing. Kilbride. APIA, lovely ball movement, able to find their way into the middle third now. It's a move that started all the way back from Magus. It will stay alive if Kaparizov can get a touch. She was able to, but only intercepted by the Wanderers. And if these opening 11 minutes or so are anything to go by, this is going to be a game very much played in possession, in midfield, and a matter of who is able to dictate play on their terms. Pepino backwards towards Fragale. Kachik. Walker is being pressed, and that's a lovely turn by Mona Walker. Just sold Estelle Cameron out of the way. And an equally good pass is sprayed out wide to Pepino. And Mona Walker has been such a constant bright spot in this APIA team ever since she joined really last season, but this season especially she's clicked into another gear. And if you're following the APIA women's socials, every week they upload someone they nominate as their first grade women's player of the match, and by my count it's been 2 or 3 times Mona Walker has appeared, all despite playing in midfield, and she's actually yet to score on the season. Which just goes to show how highly valued her contributions are to this team. And APIA are looking to press the Wanderers here. Cameron has Fragale for company. Goes down under the pressure, and there was enough contact there to warrant a foul for our referee. As mentioned, there's plenty of action happening around the grounds. As I take a look at the scores for you, it's all kicked off between University of New South Wales, Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Also 5 p.m. kickoffs. You've got Illawarra Stingrays, Sydney Olympic, and then the Arctic Circle derby between the Ravens and the Spirit. Of course, earlier today, Bulls FC Academy got past Sydney Uni a goal to 0. Manly and Tigers played out a 2-2 draw, which will please APIA, that's for sure. Walker goes in too strongly there, and it's a foul. Brooklyn Hudson winning, or sorry, should I say Amy Barker winning a good foul for her side. And now the APIA juniors are fighting their voice a bit more, trying to get their side into this game. It's been a fairly slow start in terms of goalmouth action for the young SAP crew that have stayed back at Lambert Park on a Sunday afternoon. Free kick comes in and it's going to be rolled away out for a goal kick. Sienna Arate delivering that one. And Pepino might fortunately benefit from that bounce, but it's ably dealt with by Alvina Kashaba. And they've able to keep it with a throw here. Kashaba just looking for some support ahead of her. Drops it into Barker. They'll stay with the Wanderers. Now it's Hudson over on that far side. Mostly been played over on the left by the Wanderers. Comparatively, Zamaya, who's over on this right wing, hasn't seen all that much of the ball. Good turn in midfield. Arate just plays it back to Barden, and now they make their way out to the right. Here is Scarmadella. Walker showing great midfield instincts and turns away from Cameron, and now Estelle Fragale can unlock this midfield. Crofts holds up possession, has found Pepino out wide. More numbers joining the attack. Here is Caceres. She can create from this sort of position. Crofts gets ahead of her, but there's not much support other than that, and now they wait for the numbers to join. Pepino tries the shot, goes down, and felt that she was fouled in the act of shooting, but it looked like Amy Barker just got enough of the ball there to stay away from the referee's whistle. And now it comes, and APIA get that free kick. Walker's able to turn, just have a look up and play in Crofts. Crofts will try from distance. It's swerving and dipping, and in the end, it's a bit too close to Amy Hall. Still been APIA who have probably started the better of these two teams. 16 minutes gone here at Lambert Park, but the Wanderers might have something to say about that as Zamaya tries to beat Kachik to the ball, and Kachik plays a keeper. Magus is asking a lot of Kaparizov. It'll be snuffed out by Cameron. Kilbride sends it into the sky. Up goes Kaparizov. She won the header. The diminutive fullback. Now the Wanderers have something to work with here. Barker. Out it goes to Kashaba. Floated ball is lofted into the area, and it's allowed to bounce by Kachik, and probably got the call from a keeper there. And Sophie Magus can restart the attack for the hosts. Pepino flicks it on. Maybe thought Crofts was there, but she has drifted out to the left side now. This APIA front three continues to really shuffle things about. We've seen Pepino and Lancaster swap wings a couple of times. Now it's Ash Crofts who's over on the left. Zamaya hooks the ball around the corner intended for Cameron. And Mona Walker just goes for safety and finds the sideline. Scarmadella drops it short, and they've just run out of real estate on this wing here. Amelia Cassar slightly overhit that pass, but still the Wanderers are standing well in their defensive shape. Wanderers still looking for their first clean sheet of the season. Wins came against Olympic and Gladesville Ravens 3-1 and 2-1 respectively. That's a heavy challenge by Brooklyn Hudson, and just receives a bit of an extended talking to from our referee, Mayor Valade. And it has been a bit of a mixed bag from the Wanderers. First game of the season, losing 5-1 to Manly, which is expected really when you look at how well Manly have started the season. Round two, they were able to beat Olympic 3-1. Then they had the almost a bit of a welcome to the NPL moment with that away trip down in Illawarra. That's such a tough place to go and play, especially for an academy side. Even so, some of the more seasoned teams in this competition. And they got a big 2-1 win against the Gladesville Ravens as well. That's a Gladesville Ravens team that has plenty of experienced NPL veterans. The Ravens themselves will be trying to push into the finals after not being all that far away in 2024. Flag is up, and Brooklyn Hudson just made that run a little bit early, but you can see the intent from the Wanderers is to try and unlock these wings, sensing that the midfield experience that APIA has might be difficult to try and navigate through. Instead, try and use the quality they have out wide. It's certainly a very enviable midfield three that APIA have. It was already good last season with Fragale and Walker. They had Christodoulou last year, who's now moved on to NSW. And now they've replaced her with arguably the best player from the Rams championship winning treble. 3 consecutive years, rather, of grand final wins in this competition. They take Mel Caceres out of that Rams team and put her in that number 10 jersey for APIA, which was a number 10 jersey that up until this season was left vacant by the departure of Rihanna Policina, long-time APIA number 10. Now playing for Melbourne City. She had been mixing it with APIA, but now playing a bit more locally in the NPL in Victoria. That was last season. So it certainly is a very big jersey number to wear. Always that number 10 jersey, any team you play in, carries a lot of attention. As Barker takes the ball forward, tries to thread the needle out to Hudson. You can see what the vision was as APIA just slammed the door shut on that attacking move. Still no big chances, really. Just that one Ashcroft shot that was saved out for a corner by Amy Hall, but it was at a tight angle. And now the flag has stayed down. Hudson just able to get the other side of Golding, but stay in an onside position. Again, the APIA fans finding their voice, is trying to push their team forward. Again, when every team takes on APIA, they're under no illusions as to the magnitude of the task ahead. As mentioned in our introduction to this game, a team that is widely predicted to take home some hardware at the end of the year. As Pepino finds Walker, receive the pass off Walker rather. Here is Caceres on the edge of the area, can hit them and does. It's palmed away by Hall. A decent enough height for the keeper, but now APIA starting to find their rhythm just a little bit. And as they try and get this attack humming, it's an attack that's looked good throughout the season, and they've been especially good from set pieces. Especially when Christina Kachik gets up. She's had a couple of headers this season. Lancaster puts it right into the mix. This one is good, and it was in a very good position. Just needed the slightest of touches into the back of the net, and that would have been it. In the end, Wanderers are able to defuse the situation. It's still in a dangerous position, though. Fragale has the ball to feet. Kachik now. Floated ball in, and it's a decent one for Walker, but just over her head. And they're unable to connect on that move. And a slightly worrying sign here with Amy Barker just going down, clutching her ankle, I think. We'll see if she needs to receive treatment, but as mentioned, this is a Wanderers side that is stretched with the A-League women's side in action today. Of course, Natalia Eunice, Bronte True, Talia Capitanellis have all been involved. set to be involved, especially once the A-League women's season ends, but with their game against the Victory over at Wanderers Football Park today. None of those three are here, and a few other players out as well. But the Wanderers, make no mistake, even without those players, they're still a very, very good team. The under-23s team is having a fantastic season, so they can rely on that young talent to supplement the already exceptional crop of players they have in their young first-grade team. Arate pass is intercepted by Kaparizov, and Caceres gets the time and has a bit of chance to move this attack forward. Pepino. And Caceres again. Patient play by APIA. They won't be rushed. That's really been the theme of this first 20 minutes for them. They will not be hurried. Crofts turns on the edge of the area and is shepherded away from goal by Maya Lobo. Sent forward, and Kassar might be able to latch on to the end of this one. It'll stay APIA's ball. Kachik. And it goes to Pepino. Now Kaparizov, and a good turn by Kaparizov under pressure by Zamaya, but Wanderers able to win it back, and there is Estelle Fragale. Pepino able to switch it to Walker, and APIA continue their patient build-up. If I had to hazard a guess at possession, I'd probably guess at maybe 60-40 split in APIA's favour. The game has been played almost exclusively in the attacking half. And that's a rare mistake from Mona Walker, and it's benefited towards Kassar, who switched the ball out to Zamaya, and this is a good opportunity here for the Wanderers. Zamaya, good ball in. Kassar was arriving late. It's come back out to Hudson. And it rattles the side netting and goes away from danger, but that from APIA was a very nervy sequence of play. A good ball in from Miriam Zamaya. Able to just hold things up, wait for the numbers to arrive, and whipped it back post. It fell to Hudson, but it could have well fallen to Amelia Kassar, who made a decent play at trying to head the ball towards goal. Was just half a step behind it. And a bit of a warning shot fired from the Wanderers, which ultimately comes at the end of an APIA turnover. First meaningful opportunity the Wanderers have had in this game. It was a decent look at goal at the back post. Lancaster has looked great despite the numbers that the Wanderers have thrown at her. Walker. Driven ball onto the feet of Pepino. A good first touch. The second one is looping up and catching practice in the end for Amy Hall. Kashaba looks down the line for Barker, who's advanced a bit further forward. Still APIA continue to maintain their chokehold in possession. Fragale goes down. And some extended discussions, I think, happening on the bench. Brad Attard over on the sideline, just trying to get his side going. And this will be a bit of an impromptu timeout. I think that's Amy Barker down on the pitch. We saw her go down a bit earlier with what seemed to be like an ankle knock. So this is, you think, a critical juncture in this game. 28 minutes gone, and Still no score, but APIA have looked more likely without really lighting things up in attack. Speaking of lighting things up in attack, over at Christie Park, the Gladesville Ravens lead 2-0, 22 minutes gone. 2 goals in the last 5 minutes have them ahead of their local rivals. And now play gets going once more. And ball is back out to Pepino here. It goes over all the Wanderers defenders, but she can't quite wrap her foot around the ball as Amy Barker looks set to get back into the action. So the Wanderers will restart things again. Amy Hall, again, still in search of that first clean sheet. If they can continue holding out APIA, they've, yes, given up a lot of possession, but ultimately not too many chances as of yet. Cameron looking to press the issue. Here is Arate. Out it goes to Kashaba. Now it's the Wanderers' turn to try and build something. Barker is back into the action and is immediately hounded, but it's good by the Wanderers. Eventually they find Kassar. Back to Hudson. Seen away by Kilbride, but again the Wanderers showing they're willing to keep the ball and take it to this APIA defence. And now Crofts, her turn to do some more hold-up work. Has Maya Lobo on her back and is looking to turn around the corner. Bursts through a couple of Wanderers defenders and plays it out to Pepino. That's excellent striker hold-up play by Crofts. Can APIA find something on the end of this? Caceres. Lancaster looking to get onto that favoured left foot. Now she lines up for the shot, but the touch just evaded her at the crucial moment. And the Wanderers can put more numbers behind the ball. Fregale. Pepino is in space if she can find her. Pepino is onside. Crofts is with her, but she slipped. Wasn't much contact, despite the appeals from a couple of her APIA teammates. And now she has to try and bustle her way through the traffic. Gets the shot off, rattles the crossbar, and Crofts will be offside. And Gisela Pepino almost pulled something out of absolutely nothing. Just when you thought the move was dead after Pepino had slipped on the ball, and Crofts was waiting for a pass from her. Pepino got back up, dribbled through not just one, not two, but I think 3 Wanderers defenders. And through all that was able to find a shot that was inches away from creeping in. And I mentioned it earlier, but Gisela Pepino was listed as part of the Australian women's futsal national team. Like a couple of APIA players as well. Stel Fregale also in that mix. Alvina Koshova from the Wanderers also in that team. Alongside a whole host of NPL women's players. Amy Barker as well out there. Really is a who's who of the NPL women's. The Australian women's national futsal team. Here's Caceres as the sun sets over behind the Joe Marsden Pavilion. Zamaya has a head up, and now Kassar has sprung the offside trap, has gotten the other side of Kilbride, who's able to track her down. Kassar lets one fly, and that's great recovery work by Teal Kilbride. Wanderers were just able to catch out the APIA defence, just a simple ball over the top. It was well weighted as well. Sophie Magus would have been too far away to come out and claim it. Amelia Cassar had to do plenty to try and score from there, but her task was made all the more difficult by the former Northern Tiger, Teal Kilbride. Crofts has a quick check of the shoulder and sees that no one's on her back, and she can take the ball forward instead. Has Arate on her back, is asking a bit of Pepino to try and get to this one, but it has enough weight on it that it's not easily tracked down by the Wanderers defence. And now Caceres. Ball was intended for Lancaster, but it'll bounce out to Mona Walker instead. Mona Walker composed and finds safety in her defensive line. Just over 10 minutes remaining in this first half. It's APIA who are searching for a way through this Wanderers defence. Pepino has looked likely at finding the breakthrough. The move breaks down and Zamaya has to get around Pepino, draws the foul, and that's exactly what the Wanderers would have hoped for in that situation. A nice cheap foul in their own half, and they can just set their attack and get their numbers forward after spending a few minutes behind the ball. Barden. Good pass along the line, and now they can look forward, but just unable to connect. Scarmadella. You can see the intent from the Wanderers. Try and unlock these wings. As Kachik's pass sails overall. And Mia Velado just trying to get things in order, make sure we get this throw in, taken from the right position. Scarmadella able to just march up the pitch a little more than she was initially stationed at. As Caceres turns, despite having Arate on her back. Sienna Arate, another highly rated midfielder the Wanderers have, and now Caceres tries to link up, and that's great work at the back by Chelsea Barden. Went down a bit too easy, says our referee, but the young central defender did well, not just to win the ball, but to turn away from the pressure that was coming her way. Pepino gets the call to turn, and Crofts is ahead of her. Swings it to the overlapping fullback, Caitlin Kaparazov. Good stand-up defending by Scarmadella, but it's a physical battle between the opposing fullbacks. And Scarmadella sends that out, and that'll be a corner in the end. And Amy Hall is just imploring the referee that there was a foul in all that hustle and bustle. And that corner flag has mysteriously relocated. I'm not quite sure how it got there, but it's about a metre away from where it's supposed to be, which is on the edge of the pitch. Oh, it is going to be a foul. No, it's not. It's going to be a corner. So Mia Golding is going to whip this one in. In it comes. The numbers are still around Amy Hall. It's towards the back post. There were plenty of maroon shirts to aim for. Lancaster back towards Pepino. The flag was down and just slightly too high for Pepino to control. If that was onto her chest, she would have had a great opportunity at trying to put one into the back of the net there. Gisela Pepino, who out of all the APIA front three has probably looked the most dynamic so far. Ashcroft's, whilst not having too many looks at goal, has looked very tidy in terms of build-up play, in terms of keeping the ball. And that's allowed APIA to continue piling on the pressure this young Wanderers defence. But so far they're holding well. Just a few minutes remaining in this first half. We might have a bit of stoppage time as well. Amy Barker was down for a little bit. There's no fourth official here this afternoon as Teal Kilbride finds Mona Walker. Early ball is lofted long. It's onto the head of Chelsea Barton, though, as Arate knocks it down for Cameron, and now Pepino is able to get away from a couple of Wanderers defenders. Tries to take on a third, but can't get through at the vital moment, and Might have taken something on the way through there as she's knocked to the ground. It's a good pass out for Hudson. Teal Kilbride has to get back. And the offside flag was up in any case. Again, it's another good pass out wide by the Wanderers. APIA need to make sure they're alert to those balls out wide. Lancaster looks up, thought about maybe launching one into the front three and eventually does, but that's not where Ashcrofts would have wanted it. Now the Wanderers have to try and work their way from this tight position. Golding sends it back from whence it came, and good awareness by Maya Lobo. The Wanderers goal kick. Hall wants to try and go quickly, try and catch this APIA defence off guard before they set, but they're unable to progress the ball forward quickly, and now APIA are able to sit back into their defensive shape. Lobo takes it out of the defensive line. Wasn't met by anyone, but was forced into making a hurried pass. Walker, an errant pass only towards Cameron. Now here is Zamaya. Scarmadella joins the attack. The fullback bombs on. Now unable to link up on this right side, but still promising signs for the Wanderers. Kachik. Kaparazov has space to work with and a space to move into. Slides the ball down the line to Pepino. Crofts is arriving centrally, but Giselle Pepino is unable to find the target she wanted. Barton. Zamaya, some quick feet to try and get through Kaparazov and plays it right between her legs as Cameron looks for Kassar, but the passing angle was a little bit tighter than it was. As Magus rolls it out, coolly out to Kilbride. Just a couple of minutes left in this first half. Still 0-0. It's been very much an arm wrestle between these two teams. APIA holding more of the ball, looking good while they have it, but unable to convert it into consistent attacking passes or consistent shots on goal. Pepino's probably had the best one. She's rattled the crossbar. Crofts had a decent shot as well. As Lancaster has gone down here, might have copped an arm to the head there. And it looked all innocuous, all fairly innocent, but nevertheless still hurts. Let's take a look around the ground. This has been a score update over at the Village Green at UNSW. Mount Druitt Town Rangers lead by 1-0. 40 minutes gone over there. As the Wanderers look to attack, Kachik goes for safety. Walker can get a toe onto this one. Pepino is out wide. It's a very almost picturesque sunset above the Joe Marston Pavilion. You can see at the top of your screen right now, a very lovely orange-purple, beautiful night for NPL women's football. Where would you rather be? What else would you rather be watching? Arate loops a pass over the top, and it's going to be latched on here by Kashaba. Haven't seen her get forward on too many occasions, but when the Wanderers do get their wing-backs forward, they look good, and they're able to join numbers into this attack. Scarmadella, the right-sided fullback, joins. Tries to show Lancaster one way then the other. Zamaya able to pick it up, and now Lancaster can get forward quickly, and good tracking back there by Scarmadella and Zamaya. Stop the Wanderers getting forward on the counter, and now they have to rebuild through midfield. Fragale. Here is Caceres. And Crofts gets a nudge in the back, to say the least, from Maialobo. Fairly easy call for our official. That'll be an APIA free kick without too many complaints from the Wanderers. Ball is switched out to Lancaster, who takes it onto her toes and tries to get past Scarmadella, who's doing well at right back so far. Has had a lot to deal with, but showing plenty of composure despite the pressure, and that's really been the same for this entire Wanderers defensive unit. Haven't seen all that much of the ball, but doing their task when required, as Crofts has to hold it up, tries to play it around the corner for Pepino, but Amy Hall was always going to be favoured to take that one. As we are ticking over, it's now 45 minutes gone. The discretion of our referees. Caceres, maybe one final move potentially for APIA, as Crofts is able to get the other side of Barden, but Maialobo was helping out her centre-back partner. Pass wasn't able to match her defensive effort, as Golding shows her a clean set of heels. Mia Golding will burst towards the byline, floats it towards the back post. It's just over Charlotte Lancaster, though. But good positive play by the young right-back, Mia Golding. And that's her strength, really, is getting forward, joining the attack, a quick burst of speed down the wing. And she showed it there with some good defensive instincts to intercept the pass. And for the Wanderers, I'll probably be fairly happy with how this first half has gone so far. They've kept APIA scoreless. They haven't conceded all that many chances either. It's not like they've rode their luck. Yes, that one Pepino shot did hit the crossbar, but other than that, there hasn't been all that much for APIA to really claim as a golden opportunity. And down the other end, they've had a decent half shot on goal through Amelia Cassar, but they've mostly been able just to contain APIA's attack. I think that's the right word to summarise how this game has gone so far. We'll see in the second half if this young Wanderers team are able to maybe start playing things a bit more on their terms when they have the ball. Scarmadella only into the feet of Mel Caceres, who has to evade Estelle Cameron. Now finds Mia Golding as we are into the second minute of additional time here at Lambert Park. Can't be all that far away from the halftime break, which will be crucial for both these coaches. There's certainly been positives and negatives of both their team's performances, as Walker looks for the more direct option, but that'll break down for the home team, and Amy Hall senses that halftime is around the corner and won't be in a hurry to move things on, and that'll be halftime here from Lambert Park. We remain scoreless, but a very interesting tactical battle so far. APIA have had more of the ball, but the Wanderers have kept them contained as we head into the halftime break. I've been Will Constantinides. We'll see you back soon on the other side of this quick break. Welcome back to Lambert Park for the second half of football. A very interesting first half. A very tight tactical battle between two teams that do want to have the ball at their feet. It was APIA who did have more of possession, but they weren't able to really capitalise on it effectively. Now the Wanderers still in this game. They were able to hold APIA to just half chances, not too many shots from dangerous positions. APIA actually looked probably most dangerous from some of the set pieces that they were able to whip in. And there has been a change at the break. Hannah McNulty is out there. She continues her comeback from injury. She looks set to start her stint on the wing. She's replaced Gisela Pepino. Meanwhile, for the Wanderers, they look unchanged. So, an interesting one, I think, by APIA. Gisela Pepino was looking lively in the first half. She did have APIA's best chance at the game to score, which was a shot that ended up hitting the crossbar. Now Hannah McNulty gets her chance to try and make an impact, still finding her feet in the maroon of APIA. Coming across a long-time Northern Tigers player, so synonymous with their success since they were promoted since I promoted many seasons ago, should I say. They were able to win silverware last season. McNulty was a big part of their Sapphire Cup win. And now she comes across to APIA, joins former Tigers Mona Walker and Teal Kilbride. Walker will try from long range. That's too easy for Amy Hall. And with the second half resuming, the APIA juniors continue to try and back their first grade team to a win. First loss of the season coming last week away to Popondetta, which doesn't look like all that bad of a result considering how well Mount Druitt have started. Through the first 4 rounds of the season, they're yet to concede. This is their first season in the top flight. Meanwhile, Kassar tries from long range. Magus is interested. That's easily taken in the end. But to speak on the success, really, of Mount Druitt, which is relevant to this game, APIA did lose to them last week. Mount Druitt, after last week, have gone 6 hours without conceding, and I think they might have notched up 7 hours. Taking a look over at that game between them and UNSW, they're still yet to concede, Mount Druitt. It is astonishing, the defensive record they have in their first season in the top flight. Now 7 hours without conceding a single goal. It is astounding. Cross in, it just needed someone at the near post. Amy Hall, who has been certainly the busier of the two keepers, but most of the work she has had to do has been fairly regulation. Kassar doesn't have anyone on her back and can turn. Hudson, she looked lively in the first half, had a decent chance on goal. Play so well, and Mona Walker continues to be one of APIA's biggest contributors on both sides of the ball. There she is again, getting stuck in with a challenge. It was clean. Still APIA have had to give up the ball to the Wanderers, and now the Wanderers can advance into the attacking third. Kashaba just plays a simple pass to Maya Lobo. Arate steps forward, able to skip past Walker and was looking for that ball down the line to Hudson. That corner flag is still not where it's meant to be. I'm not sure if that's been noticed by the referees, but it's skipped down into the corner and it's just a little bit further out. Golding goes down the line, intended for McNulty. Barker, good pass forward. Here is Kassar, looks to burst her way through a couple of APIA defenders and does. Can they find a good opportunity on the end of this? The Wanderers, they've been building nicely for the last couple of minutes. Here is Zamaya, who can hit them. Slaloms through a couple of defenders. But her shot was tamed by I think Mona Walker or Teal Kilbride, one of the two, was in there to try and take the sting out of it. And Fragale has just tripped on the ball at a vital moment. Caceres had Arate on her back. McNulty is calling for the ball on this far side, but they go down the other. Kaparizov is advanced. Lancaster has to drop back in to cover her there. She is making the challenge. And now APIA might have some numbers to work with as Lancaster tries to dance along the wing. Arate, first time ball to keep it moving through midfield, and it's promptly shifted wide to Kashoba by Amy Barker. Kashaba. Now here's Lobo. Good turn and good awareness from Kashoba. And was looking to swing that ball out wide. It'll fall too easily for Kaparizov, who sends it out over the sideline. It'll be a Wanderers throw, but they're still building into this game. And I think for the Wanderers at half-time, would have certainly been happy with how things are going and sensing that with how they're playing and how they're able to keep the ball when they did have it, there weren't too many occasions. They can look threatening, and maybe a sense that if they back themselves and play with confidence and assertiveness, they can maybe take it to this APIA defence a bit more than they were in the first half. And a strong challenge by Barton on Lancaster, but it was all ball, and Lancaster got up to her feet quickly. APIA's games have been fairly close for the most part this season. Of the 3 wins they've had, they've scored 2 goals in all 3 of them. Had 2-2-1s, round 3 against UNSW at home. They've only actually played the 1 away game this season, which was away to Mount Druitt at Popondetta in round 4 last week, which they lost. All their first 3 games were at home. 2-0 to MacArthur in the grand final rematch where they got their revenge. And then 2-1 against Gladesville, 2-1 against UNSW. So they haven't been able to really run over the top of teams just yet. And they're in another tight battle. 50 minutes gone here at Lambert Park. Caceres. McNulty has dropped into a bit of space on the edge of the area. Can line a shot up here for Fragale. Has to move it wide. Lancaster can get onto that left foot, but scouting report by the Wanderers, and most NPL teams would be trying to force Charlotte Lancaster onto her right. She's good on her right as well, Lancaster, but that left foot is just so deadly. She can shoot from just about anywhere inside 30 metres. Oh, that is skillful, and that is lovely from Mel Caceres. And Nutmeg takes away a couple of defenders. Was unable to get past the third, though, and that's been really the story for this Wanderers defence. Whenever they have been faced with any challenge, there is always an extra player there for them defensively to meet it. Even when Caceres or Pepino, who did it mostly in the first half, whenever someone beats a couple of defenders, and just when you think danger might be brewing, there's another Wanderers white shirt there to meet the call. Hudson, oh, that is skillful work, and she's agriculturally chopped down there by Mia Golding. And I think she might be a little lucky. And she should receive at the very least a warning for that one. Mia Velade just saying we'll wait on the whistle for this one. Meanwhile, over at Linwood, it's the reigning champions MacArthur Rams leading 2-1 against the emerging Jets. Score update from out there. As Kashaba floated ball in. It's a good one too. Kachik is up to meet it. It goes pinballing back into the area. It comes back down. And in the end, Scarmadella couldn't get her head over the ball. But another warning shot fired by this Wanderers attack. They've really continued this second half, much in the same way they continued the first, which is biding their time defensively, staying structured, and then when they do have the ball, looking to make the most of it. And that's not to say that they're just launching it forward on the counter either. They're actually playing very fluid, very attractive brand of football. Golding. Out to McNulty, who looks up and drives it forward for Crofts, but just an awkward height at her hips, unable to use the thighs to control it. But again, the Wanderers starting slowly to claw back some of that possession that they were willing to give away a bit more to their opponents in the first half. Scarmadella over on that far side. That move breaks down though. McNulty was looking for the cheeky pass around the corner to Crofts, but it's all too close to Maya Lobo, and now it's the Wanderers' turn to find themselves in a position where APIA was in the first half down that end of the pitch and keeping the ball in the back line as Barton has to hurry. So Maya has to try and turn past Kiparazov, who's probably one of the quicker players, if not the quickest, in this APIA team. That's a very difficult matchup for both players, really. So far, neither has given up all that much just yet. Kilbride into intercept. The first time pass forward, but it's cut out in midfield by Scarmadella, who had inverted off that right back position. Cameron, touch just evaded her as she tried to play it forward to a midfield partner in Amy Barker. Caceres gets the call to turn and has Hannah McNulty in a lot of space here. The pass was just under hit, which brought Kashaba into play. And now she's popped the ball over. Hudson, good control to keep it in, but Mia Golding did well equally to recover. Kachik, oh, that's a costly turnover. It could be here for APIA. Kassar is on the turn, able to get past a couple of defenders, goes to ground. Had a decent shout for something. Wanted the foul, did the Wanderers, and Amelia Kassar, and in the end they have to walk away as they conceded the foul. That was, again, another costly turnover. Almost there by APIA. We saw it in the first half where Kassar had a shot from the edge of the area that was fading away. And there APIA gave away possession. And again, it's Amelia Kassar who's looking to feed off the scraps that she gets. Crofts turns and finds Mel Caceres. Those two haven't been able to link up all that much so far. McNulty turns and puts a good shot on goal. Had decent power behind it, and a deflection deviated the path of the ball away from goal. And so it will be another corner for APIA. We'll see where they go with this one. The others they had in the first half were straight onto where Amy Hall was. Whether it was from Charlotte Lancaster or Mia Golding, both were putting the ball on. And Hannah McNulty has looked good since coming on. A decent opportunity there. And again, they crowd that 6-yard area. Golding to deliver. Good height on it. It's going to be right where Amy Hall is, and that time she's able to punch. It falls to Lancaster. It was on her left foot, but just overcooked the shot. And judging by the extra sound coming from where the Wanderers juniors, the APIA juniors are stationed, it looks like they've somehow got their hands on a megaphone. And expect more noise coming as we enter the final half an hour of this game. And there's been a substitution meanwhile for the Wanderers. Into the fray is number 21, Olivia Vanderland. And it looks like she is replaced. We'll just get confirmation in a moment. It is actually Brooklyn Hudson. So Brooklyn Hudson comes off the left wing. Olivia Vanderland goes to the top of the attack. And Miriam Zamaya, who was on the right side, is now out on the left. And Amelia Kassar, who was operating as the number 9 and did well in that position, now goes out to the wing. Olivia Vanderland finding her way at the Wanderers by way of Sydney Uni. Did play there last season, notched up 12 goals in all competitions, so can certainly score. And she was a bright spot as part of Sydney Uni's run to the Sapphire Cup final. A young Sydney Uni side that did find it difficult through the regular season in 2024. She was able to pop up with some good goals throughout the year. And now she comes in for the Wanderers. Good touch by Lancaster. Now she gets to the byline looking for Crofton. Well intercepted by Maya Lobo. That is a very handy piece of defending work. Olivia Vanderland has 5 goals to her name this season, but all of them have come in the under-23s competition. So looking for that first grade goal in red and black, or tonight red and white. Good play by the Wanderers. That is very tidy work in midfield, and now they can try and benefit from it. Broken down though. Golding goes down the line to McNulty, who has Mona Walker inside with her. Now she goes back to fellow former Tiger, Teal Kilbride. Kachik, well, that's not the place you want to be turning under pressure. Vanderland has gotten the other side here, and that's last-ditch defensive work by Christina Kachik. And Sophie Magus was not taking any chances by picking it up. She just wanted to clear it away from the sideline. But again, these turnovers are starting to creep into the game for APIA Leichhardt, which is not what they want heading into the home stretch. And just taking a look at the replay, Christina Kachik receiving with her back to goal. Just got caught, I think, by Amelia Cassar, and then Olivia Vanderland was right there, exactly where you want your striker to be, pouncing on defensive errors. And then some quick recovery work by Kachik to atone for her mistake. You sense now, with the game continuing, that APIA might be frustrated with how things are going, maybe expected themselves to be ahead by now with all the ball that they have had. And they'll need the plethora of individual quality they have in this team to try and find a spark to unlock this so far solid Wanderers defence, who are also looking for their first clean sheet of the season. Good ball forward. It's over the head of the Wanderers, or to the Wanderers rather. Cassar is there and just unable to get her foot right. Was asking a lot on the half volley. If she took a touch there, she might have invited the pressure of Christina Kachik, and the opportunity would have been gone. So you don't blame her for trying the half volley there. And a player of her quality can certainly put them away. In the last 10 minutes, I think it's fair to say the Wanderers have certainly looked the better in front of goal. APIA trying to hit back on the other end. Lancaster. Numbers are arriving in the box. It's going straight towards where Ashcrofts is again. Lobo intercepts it. Most of these APIA crosses, Maya Lobo is right there to defuse the danger. So Maya, quick check of the shoulder. Golding came rushing in and won it cleanly. Mia Golding. Now McNulty. Still with the ball at her feet, and that might roll away. Wanderers do prevent the throw, and might think about a counter-attack here. Instead, it's sent out by Estelle Fragale. Oh, Kashaba, that's not where you want to be turning in the midfield there. She had players right on her back. And now you think as these teams get tired, a few more of these errors might start creeping in. They were so clean and tidy on the ball in the first half. Weren't too many cheap turnovers for both teams, really. But as the game goes on and some tired legs and tired minds, we'll see if it opens up even a little bit. It has opened up, I think it's fair to say, for the Wanderers. Have found avenues to goal with a bit more regularity than they did in the first 45. Alvina Kashaba. Throw in changes hands. It'll be the Wanderers. Of course, the 18s game, which I watched just before this, was played in very good spirits. The APIA 18s were able to get the 2-1 win, but it went right down to the wire, and I think we might be set for a similar ending here as Arate drags back Fregale's shirt. Easy call for Mia Velade, our center referee. Mel Caceres. Christina Kachik. Lofted ball. Exactly where Lancaster is, and now Lancaster tries to take it around the other side of her defender. Good play. Play continues though. Scarmadella went in strongly but fairly. APIA thought they were deserving of a foul there. Play continues though. They still have the ball in a good position, and Lancaster knew she was offside. And instead of conceding the offside, they'll concede the goal kick instead. Amy Hall to get us going again. If this ended 0-0, I'd be certainly very surprised the way these two teams have been able to score consistently throughout the season. And now they have an opportunity here. The Wanderers, Zamaya has a chance to go one-on-one, and it's the offside flag that denies her. Difficult to see from our commentary position here, but it would have been awfully tight. But again, it's those early balls out wide for the Wanderers that are unlocking this APIA attack. And now with Miriam Zamaya and Amelia Kassar flanking Olivia Vanderland, there could be some more opportunities coming for the Academy outfit. Again, they look for these turnovers, try and force APIA into some errors. Golding was so close to giving it away, but got out of trouble there. Arate will try from range, but just unable to really connect properly with that one. And APIA find themselves in a very precarious position right now. 0-0 at home. And the Wanderers are very firmly taking this game to them. APIA's record at Lambert Park last season was exceptional. They also played some games at Leichhardt Oval while the pitch was being resurfaced. This season they have a perfect 3-of-3 home record. And that could be in serious jeopardy as another ball is going to be cleared onto Marion Street. And that one is actually right behind where we are. And we're set for our second ball replacement of the game, our third ball to be used in this one. And if I had to hazard a guess at the team that racks up the most invoices to Football New South Wales for a new set of balls, for balls that are lost, I think APIA would certainly be up there. A very tight ground here in Leichhardt. And so it looks like Brad Attard might be going to his bench soon. He's set the subs over to warm up. Golding launches one down towards Crofts. Cries of handball, nothing doing, says Mia Velade. And well won back by Alvina Kashaba. She's been very solid. Her and basically the entire Wanderers back four really haven't put a foot wrong tonight. Scarmadella over on that right side. Chelsea Barton, Maya Lobo in the middle. Maya Lobo has extensive experience in this competition for the MacArthur Rams. Also has played in the A-League. First got a scholarship contract for the Central Coast Mariners, then moved over to the Wanderers. Has played at youth national team level as well. A very talented prospect, and now she's just having a bit of a chat to her former Rams teammate, Mel Caceres. 3 championships won together. Early ball out to Miriam Zamaya. Now Amy Barker, who looks to have completely shaken off that knock in the first half as she skips around Mona Walker. Asking a lot of Olivia Vanderland to get to that one before it rolls out, and in the end she can't. And APIA will reset with the goal kick. Magus. Well, one in the air by Crofts, and it's going to fall nicely for McNulty, who's tucking in a bit more, trying to connect play. The APIA right winger. And now Kilbride tries to play a low-driven pass forward, but it's picked off by the Wanderers, and now the Wanderers are enjoying a very calm spell of possession. I think it's fair to say in the second half they've been the ones to have more of the ball. It was the other way around in the first 45. Cassar is able to keep that one in and kept the attack going, but there is Caceres. Gets through a couple of Wanderers defenders. Now can they find the pass forward to keep this attack going? The Wanderers do force them back though. Here is Fragale. Now Kachik. Looking for something down the right. Has to lob a ball out to Golding, and it's a good pass at that. Right over the head of Miriam Zamaya, who was trying to cut out the passing lane. McNulty has it taken off her toes by Kashaba. Now, McNulty. Pass goes out. Barden. Pass was into midfield, intended for Cameron, but APIA read the play well. Now they can try and push forward. This scoreline still remains locked at 0-0. And so far it's Gisela Pepino who's now off the pitch. Her first half crossbar shot. It's the biggest chance of the game. Fragale just forces her way through midfield and tries the shot herself. Trying to do it all on her own. The APIA defensive midfielder is Lancaster. Her cross cannons off Scarmadello, and it'll be another APIA corner. We'll see if they continue with this trend of piling numbers on Amy Hall. Mia Golding has to run over from the right side over to the left to take. And once again, it's basically all inside the 6-yard box for APIA. That yellow shirt of Amy Hall will have to stand tall. In it goes from Mia Golding. It's a bit deeper this time. Caceres is on the edge of the area. Tried to bring it under her control, and Zamaya has Vanderland ahead of her, and now she's in a foot race with Caitlin Kaparazov. Two former Sydney Uni players going at it. Vanderland, and that time Kaparazov gets a touch, and it just delays the attack, which is just as good as stopping it from an APIA perspective. Still it goes on for the Wanderers. Sienna Arate switches the point of attack. Miriam Zamaya has just about kept that one in, has she? Yes, she has. And some good skill to keep it moving. Barker floated in towards the back post. There is Vanderland, and the flag is down, and the Wanderers are up. Olivia Vanderland has come off the bench, and she's gone straight onto the score sheet with a well-taken header. A fantastic cross in. And after lighting up the 23s competition, Olivia Vanderland has her goal in first grade. And it's probably what the Wanderers have deserved, in all honesty. They've been threatening and threatening in this second half. And in the end, Amy Barker puts in a pinpoint cross onto the head of Vanderland. And I don't think there can be too many complaints about offside. Just having a look at the replay, it looks like either Kachik or one of the players on the right side might have kept her on. But in the end, it is a fantastic goal by the Wanderers. Golding. And now APIA find themselves trailing at home. The Wanderers, this would be a massive result for them. What do APIA have? And in the end, McNulty, and that's probably summarised the game so far for APIA. They've looked threatening with the ball. They have had plenty of possession around the edge of the area, but they just haven't been able to convert it into frequent chances. And we said the Wanderers were threatening and looking good for a goal. in the end they take it. And it's a great header by Van der Len. She was unmarked, but she still had it all to do. And now Sienna Arate, I think, is just trying to stretch out. And looks like APIA, in response to going down, are going to go to their bench. So off comes Caitlin Kaparazov. We'll get confirmation of the sub in just a moment, but it looks like that might be Violet Keelan, who is playing first grade for the first time this season. A massive game for the young winger to come into. She's very fast, very rapid, and probably the type of player you want in this sort of game where you're trailing and looking to try and cause problems for the defense. And so Violet Keelan will stay up while Crofts goes back to defend. And so Sienna Arate will deliver this one for the Wanderers. A second here would be a crushing blow for APIA. Magus can only spill it. It's volleyed back towards goal by Zamaya. She couldn't keep it down, though, and now there's only 15 minutes plus extra time remaining. This would be, if the score holds, the first time that, or second time rather, in successive weeks that APIA have been kept scoreless. Their first loss at home. And now Brad Attard will move the magnets once more. It looks like Brinley Gentle is going to be coming on. So we'll see if that's for Ash Crofts, which would be a like-for-like swap as two number 9s, or if he brings off someone else and throws on an extra attacker. Meanwhile, the Wanderers have made a sub. Sienna Arate, who was stretching out that calf just a moment ago. I think she's been replaced by Hope Clare. And former Blacktown Spartan, now in red and black. A very easy shift to make. Those two training grounds are basically neighbours. Meanwhile, the Wanderers aren't content with just one. Kassar is on the ball. Now here is Barker. Walker darting forward, looking for some support. Numbers are slowly creeping forward for APIA. McNulty is one of them. Crofts is ahead of her. So is Caceres. Crofts in the box, tries the back heel, but it's well read by Chelsea Barden. And this APIA defense, or APIA attack rather, continues to be frustrated by the Wanderers' defense. Golding passes inside to Caceres. And it'll be an APIA corner. The corner counters continue to rise. APIA needing one to count here to avoid being handed back-to-back defeats. And perhaps even more concerningly, it means they would have gone 2 games without scoring, which for a side that has such a exciting attack would be very surprising indeed. Lancaster puts it in. This one's a bit deeper towards the back post. It's side netting in the end. Plenty of players had claim to that one as Fregale trips up Amy Barker, who has had a fantastic game. It must be said, Amy Barker will be credited with the assist for the goal. It was exactly where the cross was. I don't think she could have put it in a better position than that. Now Van der Len trying to cause more problems than she already has for this defense. Meanwhile, Zamaya is on it. Flicks the pass down towards Kashaba. We'll look to clean up the scraps, and now the Wanderers continue. Kashaba, good ball in. Kassar was there. Lancaster has had to go back and do some defensive work. They've shifted Lancaster to left back now with Kaparizov coming off. Meanwhile, Violet Keelan has replaced Lancaster as the team's left winger. Zamaya. Ball in, finds Kassar, but her touch was a little heavy, and now here is Walker. Has Caceres to her right, has to go through a couple of Wanderers defenders, and that midfield is standing tall right now. Wanderers continue. You get the sense here that they're really hunting for this second. They are not going to sit on this 1-0 lead. And the more they pin APIA back in their own half, the more likely they are to see out this result. Zamaya tries to sell Golding down the wing, and in the end she'll just keep the ball at her feet and won't be in a hurry to move it on. Fragale comes in trying to add an extra number. APIA do win it back, but they've got to dig it out of their own corner now. Fragale has Caceres ahead of her, and they play the 1-2s well. Fragale has the engine to keep going forward, looking for Crofts, and it was full stretch from Maya Lobo. She had to be to stop that pass getting forward. And now here comes that substitution that I mentioned. Teal Kilbride is coming off, so a very clear sign of intent that they are going to throw everything at this APIA. A centre-back goes off, a striker comes on. Brinley Gentle, who has popped up with a goal last time they played here against the Gladesville Ravens. Oh, against UNSW, sorry. A headed goal to secure all 3 points late in the game. And they're going to need that plus extras if they're going to come out on top here today, APIA. And Wanderers will be in no hurry. It looks like they're preparing maybe a triple change here. Vanderland. Walker has now become a makeshift centre-back since Kilbride's departure. And scores around the grounds. Mount Druitt still lead against UNSW, but they have conceded a goal. In the 75th minute of that game, UNSW have pegged one back at home at the Village Green. Offside called against the Wanderers. APIA will be looking to take this one quickly and go. Gentle. Crofts is now over on the wing, just leaves that one slightly behind. Plays it around to Fragale. Gentle makes her move. It's a bit too far away, though, and Lobo will shepherd this one out, you'd think, and that's good work there by Brinley Gentle. She thought she won the corner. In the end, it'll be a Wanderers goal kick, and now Maya Lobo is on the deck. Some changes could be potentially coming very, very soon for the Wanderers as they look to seal out. Would be a huge 3 points for them. We should make it 3 wins and 2 losses, a total of 9 points from their first 5 games, which is a very handy return and a good start to the year. Which would coincidentally be the same points total that APIA would have from their first 5 games if this result were to hold. But it makes a very different reading for APIA considering the ambitions they have and the fact that they've potentially now lost 2 on the bounce. Fragale. Crofts goes down the line. It's intended for Caceres, but Caceres has found it hard, especially in the second half. First half, she was certainly very involved, but it's been the second half where the Wanderers have really shut her out of the game. And now here comes that. It'll be a double change. It won't quite be a triple, and so Amy Barker and Miriam Zamaya look to be making their way from the pitch, and both of them probably deserve that early break, in all honesty. They've been very, very good in their own right. Amy Barker assisted Vanderland's goal. And so we'll just get confirmation of the 2 players coming on. One of them And now this is going to throw me because a number 27 has come on and there's no number 27 on the team sheet. McNulty, meanwhile, tries to battle in midfield but can't. Vanderland drops short, has Kachik there to meet her off the defensive line, and they might benefit here. Alyssa McKenzie gets down the wing, has plenty of speed to burn. Goes to the back post and was deflected away though. Tries to cross it towards the back stick and is still alive for the Wanderers with Vanderland looking for a second goal. Wanderers continue. They're still looking for this all-important second goal, which would certainly put APIA away with 5 minutes plus extra time remaining. Meanwhile, the ball's been given away, though. APIA looking to hunt down the other end. Pass is released over the top. It was intended for Violet Keelan. Now Castle has the time to turn. Mackenzie's in acres of space on the wing. Had she found her? Keelan tries to cause some pressure. Vanderland is bumped off it by a combination of Kachik and Golding, and Keelan comes away with it. Crofts is the intended target of that long ball, but her touch was just a little heavy. Wanderers are just a few minutes away from a very famous result in their young history in this competition. A great result for a young team as Crofts tries to get on the end of that one, and Amy Hall was right there where she needed to be. She'll have to get back, though, as she goes up and claims. And she comes down with it. And might have taken a bump from fellow former Spartan, Ash Crofts, on the way through. And the APIA fans won't take too kindly to her taking her time. So up next for these two teams, next Sunday on the 13th of April, Western Sydney Wanderers will be at home 5 p.m. against UNSW. That'll be a very intriguing game. Two teams that have started positively this season. APIA Leichhardt are away down the road to Sydney Uni. Walker steps in to join the attack. Now plays it on the wing, but it's just slightly underhit. Kashaba is there. Fragale plays in, and now a bit of urgency for APIA, sensing that time is certainly not their friend with not long remaining. Lancaster. Early ball is in. Gentle is an intended target, and there is Maya Lobo again to see a way across. Had she not got ahead to that, there was Ash Crofts waiting. Fragale goes inside, asks for some options, and has to go back towards the right side from where she came. Golding now joins the attack herself. Plays in with Crofts, and still it's being disrupted by the Wanderers. They're holding well. This young team defending this lead away from home against one of the competition heavyweights. Keelan and Caceres. Those two link up. Keelan, it might have come off, I think, Kashaba there. And that's going to be an APIA corner. It just flicks off the corner flag. In comes the corner. Lancaster to deliver. Can they jag one here up? They might still have a bit of time for a second if they get one here. It's headed back towards goal. Amy Hall gets onto it. And that was Hannah McNulty, I think, at the back post. That was a good opportunity too. As Crofts has to pressure Hall. There is Vanderland with the biggest contribution of the game so far. Lancaster is in a hurry. There is McNulty. And Casera, she can make an impact late in these games. Tries to take it into her own hands. Goes down, and this will be a free kick in prime position for APIA. Could certainly shoot from this type of range. And a card has come out in all that chaos. And as we tick now into stoppage time, and there is no doubt who is taking this one. It's going to be Charlotte Lancaster, the left footer on the left side. And this is a very, very dangerous position. Amy Hall has to get her wall spot on here. Because Charlotte Lancaster, there is only one option for this, and I think it's going to be the shot on goal. Golding is also over it. Lancaster. Amy Hall, she sets the wall. Lancaster, it's crossed in actually. There is Crofts! A good opportunity for APIA, but in the end, it's into the grateful arms of Amy Hall. Just couldn't quite get enough power and on the header to get it away from the Wanderers keeper, and now a cheap foul is given away by Lancaster. There hasn't got to be much time left in this one for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Vanderland will be told to chase this one in behind. She might just head for the corner flag if she can get control of it. Walker's able to set it out, and it's going to be a Wanderers throw as we're into the second minute of stoppage time here at Lambert Park. Wanderers looking for their first away win of the season. They're not too far away from getting it. Before that, though, they've got to defend this attack. McNulty driving forward. Mackenzie puts in a slide challenge. Got enough of the ball, though, says our referee, Mia Velarde. And McNulty has gone down here after that challenge, and that'll prompt a quick substitution, I think, from Brad Attard. And of course, McNulty was already brought on as a substitute at half-time. She replaced Gisela Pepino. And it looks like McNulty is back on her feet. She might be all right to potentially continue, but I think they're going to take no precautions. Of course, McNulty's only just coming back from an injury herself. And now she faces maybe another setback on that injury comeback. In the meantime, no, APIA have made that sub. I think it's Aurelia Collins who's on, and now there's been a handball given against Chelsea Barton. And this one is in a good position, but it's just 5 metres or so further back. So I think Lancaster, if she crossed the first one, I think the other one will be crossed in as well. And it's all forward. And a yellow card has been given to someone on the Wanderers bench. 3 minutes of additional time gone. And this is it for APIA, you'd think. A chance to salvage a point at home. The Wanderers, a chance to defend against some competition heavyweights. Get a massive result for their first away win in their existence in this competition. Lancaster lofts it in. Up goes Kachik, but wasn't really going to trouble Amy Hall. A quick check of the watch from Mia Velarde. We might have a bit more time left still. Amy Hall will milk as much of the clock as she can. Hall looking for Mackenzie. Up goes Lancaster. APIA might have one last go at it potentially. Can't be long left now in this one. Vanderland just sends it out and away from danger, and it might just stay in here. Mackenzie has the pace to cause some problems. might be able to get the other side of Kachik. She's racing away. Alyssa McKenzie, and that is certainly a foul. You can see McKenzie, she was going at full pelt and would have tried to have maybe pull out at the last moment, but once she committed, there was always going to be a strong coming together between her and goalkeeper Sophie Magus. And now Magus will receive more treatment. This might be more time still to go in this game as we now tick over to 95 minutes of football played at Lambert Park. And Amy Hall has just gone over to the assistant on our near side and has asked how much time is left, and he told her that it depends entirely on the referee and how much additional time we've had for the injuries. Of course, McNulty and now Magus have received treatment. As APIA look on and hope that their starting keeper is not in any serious trouble. McKenzie threw everything at trying to get that ball and collected Magus on the way through. And it looks like she's going to be all right to continue. And she's still on her knees, though, but she's going to be feeling it. Sophie Magus long into the night. I think that was a heavy challenge from Alyssa McKenzie. Now here is Mel Caceres. APIA still searching. 96 minutes gone. There is Walker. And it's full time at Lambert Park. The Western Sydney Wanderers knock off APIA Leichhardt away from home to get their first away win in the NPL women's competition. A massive result for the Young Academy side. And it's down to that goal from Olivia Vanderland off the bench to get her first grade goal in red and black. Amy Barker picked up the assist for it, and APIA, despite having a lot of the ball throughout the game, were unable to create the quality chances they need to get on the score sheet. And for the second time in the same amount of weeks, APIA are not only kept scoreless, but they are without points at the end of 90. So a massive result for the Western Sydney Wanderers. They go to 9 points on the season. That'll see them shoot right up the ladder. 3 wins and 2 losses to start their campaign. Meanwhile, the Wanderers, after 3 wins in their first 3, have now lost in back-to-back games, also on 9 points. So plenty of talking points. This will certainly be the result of the weekend. I've been Will Constantinides with you from Lambert Park. An absolute pleasure to bring you this one on a great night of Sunday night NPL women's football. We'll see you back soon next weekend for another round of the NPL men's and women's. Goodbye for now.